In 1972, Vesna Vulović was a 22-year-old flight attendant for JAT Yugoslav Airlines. She was full of life, with a love for travel and a deep admiration for the Beatles, embracing the world with youthful optimism. Her story is tied to JAT Flight 367, a routine trip scheduled for January 26th. It was a cold, unremarkable day that would soon become etched into the annals of aviation history forever. By a strange twist of fate, Vesna wasn't even supposed to be on that flight. A simple clerical error confused her with another flight attendant who was also named Vesna. This was a mistake that would change her life. She had never been to Copenhagen and was excited about the stopover. Embracing the opportunity, she happily took the assignment, unaware of the journey that awaited her among the clouds. The McDonnell Douglas DC-9 took off from Copenhagen, bound for Zagreb. The atmosphere inside was calm as passengers settled in for the flight, the hum of the engines a comforting drone. For nearly an hour, the flight was perfectly normal. It soared at its cruising altitude, a silver speck against the vast blue canvas of the sky, high above the European landscape below. The plane was flying over the rugged, snow-dusted mountains of Czechoslovakia. Below, the world was a silent, peaceful panorama of white and green, a scene of immense tranquility. Then, without any warning, a catastrophic explosion detonated in the forward luggage compartment. A hidden bomb, planted by extremists, had been triggered, unleashing chaos at 33,330 feet. The immense force of the blast tore the DC-9 into 3 distinct pieces. The fuselage ruptured violently, surrendering its structural integrity to the brutal, unforgiving physics of the explosion. Instant, explosive decompression ripped through the cabin. Loose objects, luggage, and the very air itself were violently expelled into the sub-zero temperatures of the high altitude. 27 of the 28 souls on board were cast into the void. The sudden structural failure offered no time to react, a grim and silent testament to the explosion's power. Vesna, however, was in the rear of the aircraft near the galley. At the moment of the blast, a heavy food service cart became a life-saving anchor, pinning her to the wall. This accidental brace prevented her from being ejected. Trapped within a section of the tail, she was bound to the wreckage as it began its terrifying descent back to Earth. The tail section, with Vesna inside, started to fall. It didn't plummet straight down, but instead tumbled and spiraled, which significantly slowed its velocity through the thin air. For what must have felt like an eternity, she fell. The journey from 33,330 feet to the ground below lasted for approximately 3 minutes, a silent and solitary plunge. Her destination was a remote, heavily wooded mountainside. The steep slopes were blanketed in several feet of soft, fresh snow, a pristine but unforgiving landscape. The combination of the spiraling fuselage, the angle of the slope, and the deep snow created a unique cushion. The impact, while still immense, was survivable against all imaginable odds. The mangled piece of the plane slammed into the snow, carving a deep scar into the quiet mountainside. After the violence of the fall, an eerie silence took hold. A local villager named Bruno Honk was skiing nearby. He heard the thunderous explosion and saw the horrifying sight of debris raining from the sky, knowing something terrible had occurred. Guided by his instincts and knowledge of the terrain, he made his way through the deep snow towards the crash site, expecting to find no survivors amidst such devastation. Among the twisted metal and smoldering debris, he heard a faint sound, a human cry. Following the noise, he searched frantically through the wreckage for the source of the sound. There he found Vesna. Her bright turquoise uniform was a stark contrast to the white snow and dark metal. She was alive, though her body was battered and broken. Bruno had been a medic during the Second World War. His past experience kicked in immediately, and he knew he had to act fast to keep her from succumbing to her injuries. He recognized the grave severity of her condition, but did not move her, knowing that any wrong movement could be fatal. He worked to keep her warm and stable. His quick thinking kept her alive until official rescue teams could navigate the difficult terrain and reach the crash site. She was carefully evacuated and rushed to a nearby hospital. Vesna's injuries were extensive and life-threatening. She had a fractured skull, 2 crushed vertebrae, and 2 broken legs. Her body was a roadmap of the trauma she had endured. The damage to her spine was the most critical concern, leaving her temporarily paralyzed from the waist down. She fell into a deep coma, her life hanging by a thread. The medical staff worked tirelessly, but the prognosis was grim. The doctors believed that even if she survived, she would likely never walk again. The odds were stacked against her. Yet, after 27 days, the impossible happened again. Vesna emerged from her coma. She awoke to a world she didn't recognize, with no memory of her ordeal. Her memory of the incident was completely gone. She couldn't recall boarding the plane, the flight, or the terrifying fall. The moments of trauma were a total blank in her mind. Her recovery was a long and arduous journey. She had to undergo numerous surgeries and grueling physical therapy. The path back to mobility was filled with immense pain and challenge. Despite the predictions of her doctors, her determination was unyielding. Within 10 months of the crash, through sheer force of will, she learned to walk again, albeit with a limp. Her survival was celebrated as a miracle. She became a national hero in Yugoslavia, a living symbol of resilience and the indomitable human spirit against impossible odds. Her fall was officially recognized by the Guinness Book of World Records for the highest fall survived without a parachute. Her story became a legend, known around the globe. Surprisingly, Vesna was not afraid of flying after the incident. She even returned to work for JAT Airlines, though she was given a desk job rather than a role in the air. In her later years, her fame took a different turn. She became an outspoken pro-democracy activist, using her platform to protest against the regime of Slobodan Milosevic. Despite her public persona as a survivor, she privately battled with intense survivor's guilt. She often wondered why she was the only one spared from the tragedy. The physical and psychological toll of the fall remained with her throughout her life. She lived with chronic pain and the heavy weight of being the sole survivor of Flight 367. She never sought the spotlight, preferring a quiet life away from the constant reminders of the day that defined her. The label of miracle was a heavy one to carry. Vesna Vulović passed away in her Belgrade apartment in 2016 at the age of 66. Her incredible story of survival, however, continues to inspire and baffle the world. Investigators and scientists have long debated the exact physics of her survival. Her low blood pressure might have caused her to pass out quickly, saving her heart from exploding upon impact. Her story is a perfect storm of chance. The bomb's location, being pinned by the cart, the spiraling fuselage, the snowy mountain, each a critical piece of an impossible puzzle. Vesna's journey was not just a fall from the sky, but a testament to the sheer will to live. Her body endured what was considered unsurvivable, pushed by a spirit that refused to break. Her survival shows that sometimes the limits of human endurance are far beyond what we believe is possible. She became living proof of the body's incredible capacity to withstand trauma. She found a new purpose after her ordeal, shifting from a national hero to a voice for political change. She used her second chance at life to fight for the future of her country. Her life was defined by a single moment, but her legacy was shaped by the decades that followed. She showed that what happens to us does not have to be who we are. The story of JAT Flight 367 is a tragedy, a somber reminder of the 27 lives that were lost. Vesna's survival is the ray of light within that immense darkness. Her tale pushes the boundaries of belief and serves as a powerful metaphor. It speaks to anyone who has ever felt like they were in a free fall, facing their own impossible situation. Vesna Vulović never saw herself as lucky. She saw the crash as her and her parents' bad luck. Yet the world saw her as a miracle, a story of hope against overwhelming despair. Her story teaches us that survival is not just about the moment of impact, but about the long journey of recovery and finding purpose, proving that even after the longest fall, one can still learn to stand.